Serbian forces shell Dubrovnik every night and every day, yet from afar the 2,000-year-old city appears unscathed. But the bells of the Loggia Tower chime to streets all but deserted. 30,000 people have gone. The soldiers are in Plaka Street, not the tourists. St. Blaise looks down on a town boarded up against the blast of incoming shells. Medieval fountains are smashed. Windows of palaces sandbagged. Anything unprotected is at risk, including the 20% of Dubrovnik's people who have stayed on.
Even though one night you'll only have one grenade falling on in your area, you live under expectations that something else is going to happen in the next minute, and that's terrible pressure. But in the last week, as you noticed, all of the children have been moved out to the islands,
leaving those remaining forced to take shelter for hours on end in an aquarium housed inside the 1,000-year-old fortifications. Outside, all this is the work of recent bombardments, the famous pantiles pulverized by shells or patched over during the lulls. But other damage simply remains exposed to the elements.
Pored toga, na teritoriju Dubrovačke općine palo
400 to 500,000 shells have fallen on the Dubrovnik area. Over 3,000 houses are damaged, over 9,000 cars. The whole infrastructure, every hotel's damaged, every hotel.
Uništeni su svi hoteli, svi do jedan hotel.
West of Dubrovnik, Serbs positioned on this ridge systematically sank every yacht in the marina. They pulled out just last week. The yacht charter business was an important part of the area's tourist economy. This was not simply military vandalism. East of Dubrovnik, economic sabotage on an industrial scale. The Kupari hotel complex, 3,500 bedrooms, occupied by Serbs, shelled by Serbs and burned by Serbs. As they left, moving east, they left the economic base of the Dalmatian coast here in fragments. And then they blew up a water main supplying the city of Dubrovnik. But how much longer will the Serbs retreat? They still occupy the Konavle headland, part of Croatia, and it protects Kotor, where the entire Serbian navy is at anchor in Bokar Bay behind this headland. So on that skyline that we can see, they've still got their guns and artillery, as it were.
Yeah, I think not in up of mountains, but 2-3 kilometers from the mountains are their artillery, you know.
So we're within their range now?
Their range now.
30-65!
The Croatian army wants the land back, and they're fighting for it. The Serbs should have left 2 months ago under Cyrus Vance's plan. They remain, so the fighting goes on. The Croatians say that their tactics are simply to fire artillery and mortars and then hope that the Serbian forces will pull back. But more often than not, the Serbs tend to fire back with their artillery and their mortar rounds. Incoming shells falling harmlessly on the mountains, but every day they strike Dubrovnik itself, this time damaging the vehicle of the 4 UN observers in the town. But neither the UN nor the EC monitors have much impact on the Dubrovnik sector of war. The EC boat passes regularly from Croatian to Serbian lines, but the conflict progresses regardless. There is no UN protection force here, and sheltered from the incoming fire, the Croatian army supply lines stand ready. In Dubrovnik, the tanks are maintained for battle readiness.
Pruža garancije da će svoja teška naoružanja
When they give guarantees that they will pull back their heavy weapons at least 30 kilometers, then there'll be no reason for us to be here.
That remains a distant prospect, so there was no festival in Dubrovnik this year. Instead, candles mourning the dead lined the streets, and barely 100 gathered where 10,000 would normally throng. But in a gesture of defiance, some loosed off automatic weapons. While others gathered to sing Dubrovnik's Song of Liberty. and the living embraced, clasped in the remembrance of their dead. Alex Thompson, ITN, Dubrovnik.